Blessed Implosion, 5th in the Angel of Death series. Available June 9th, 2023. You can pre-order your copy now at StevieJoAuthor.com. Hi everybody! Welcome back to the Composition of Imagination. I am your host and author, Stevie Jo, and with me as always are two of my book guardians, Superman over here and MOMC over here, the OG book guardian over here, and God bless him for listening to all my stuff. And this is the channel where we dissect everything to do with Angel of Death. And when I say dissect, I mean dissect. Last week, we continued our Murmurs of Mur County discussion about Elias. We finished up book 3. So this week, we are going to go on in and start talking about The Good Shepherd, which is the latest book in the series, the 4th one, and boy, is it a doozy. So be sure you have watched the other ones as well, just so you've got that well-rounded perspective and know what we're really talking about. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into this big whopping doozy of a book. By contrast to Veiled Commandments, Elias's role in The Good Shepherd is not very large. He doesn't have as many chapters, but the ones he is in, they're heavy and they're filled with so much development.
Yeah, but would you look at it as that you don't actually see a lot of Elias himself through there, but he kind of has this like overarching presence throughout the whole book.
Very much so. So although he's not constantly seen, his presence is there. So the first time we see him is in chapter 7, and it's been 2 weeks since Veiled Commandment.
2 weeks.
Which means it has also been 2 weeks since Elias and Sky have seen each other. And he is absolutely miserable for it.
That's his own fault.
And yes, it is, because I was going to say he chose to take a step back from her so that she can decide exactly how she wants to live her life. He cannot choose it for her, and he didn't think that she would choose him anyway at this point because of the interaction he saw with Ezra. He blames this on his, nothing to do with her, it's all him. He blames his own inability to give her more than a friendly touch, where it's like, atta girl, good job.
And she's like, really?
Yeah, and he even admits to himself that one thing that motherfucker Ezra has going for him is that he can be intimate with Skylar and know her in that special way. Elias cannot.
Elias's fault.
I will go ahead and say, because it's no spoiler, he did text her. She just hasn't responded.
Oh, well then it's all on her then. So he don't need to be beating his own ass about that. No, screw that. No,
but is beating himself up.
He's beating himself up for somebody that sit there. She could have easily sit there, called or texted. She didn't do that. No, screw that. It's all on her.
His fear is, since she hasn't responded to that text, his fear is that he has made himself too unavailable and too different from her so that she just doesn't want to deal with it anymore. And he admits that it's cowardly to back off the way he did, and it's driving him crazy. He never considered himself a coward when it comes to Sky. Do you agree? Do you think he is being cowardly?
Yes. I mean, honestly, he shouldn't. Look, if he really cares about her as much as he seems to opine about through these books, then he would have sit there, laid down the law on Lilith, and said, look, this is, you're planning all this. I want this much time that I can spend with Sky. I do not care. Melatromi, all these people can go screw themselves. I don't care if they all jump in and the Mer people kill them all.
Yeah.
I want this time. And if you screw with me or anybody else, you all are going to see hell coming to earth.
You will suffer.
Yeah. And that's all he had to do. But instead, he, did this timid, wimpy ass, well, I'm going to step back. Screw that. You spent over a year with this woman.
It's true, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you let little fucktard come back and sit there and take it?
Mm-hmm. This is how we really feel about Ezra.
Be a man, put a ring on it.
Do you agree? Do you think, additionally, that if Elias had stepped in and not stepped back, do you think that Sky would have responded positively, or would that have backfired the way that Elias seems to fear?
I don't think it would have backfired if he just come clean and said, look, I understand you're mad at me. I've been busy. I've already got this, and this done.
Yeah.
I've got a really nice dinner set up. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay.
Backfired.
You think so?
Really?
Okay, yeah. Why do you think that?
I just think that too many emotions going on at once.
That is, because, yeah.
Okay, that's
emotions
valid.
are very heightened in that
exactly.
moment.
So I think it would have had a negative outcome.
And as we saw in Skylar's video, this is definitely something worth pointing out because it's to your point. Skylar does not care for guys who showboat like that. So you might be onto something with that, because when Ezra tried to do that later on in this book, kind of doing a one-up on Elias like he did, Skylar got really fucking pissed off at him and was like, that's such a Jag thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, what? So it may have been that if Elias had done that, she would have looked at him the same way, and that would have drove her further into Ezra. So
I don't even...
So that you may have been onto something. So as Elias broods over this, he's like sitting there looking at his phone like, please respond, please respond, please respond. As he's doing that, Lilith comes into the kitchen after just waking up, and that prompts Elias to tell her, I'm thinking about hiring some help around here because you're really preoccupied with Ezra lately. And Lilith protests because the help that she knows he would bring in is jealous of her and doesn't like her at all. Elias tries to stick to his guns though, and when in the background he hears the news announce another creature attack on some campers, and Elias can't help but wonder aloud, Lilith, do you know anything about this? Is Ava involved somehow? And Lilith is like, no, what? So Elias is like, that's like my, stop, what? So Elias agrees after talking with Lilith for a minute. He says, all right, I will not bring in the extra help right now if you end this thing with Ezra. If you end this thing with Ava. That's what I meant to say. And he says, if you don't end this with her, then I will. So who would Elias bring in to help Lilith? And why do you think he's decided to do that now? Do you think it's really because of her asphyxiation on Ezra, or is he planning something?
Yeah, he's planning something.
Okay.
Not sure exactly what it is.
But you think something's there.
Yeah. Oh, because she's so busy, the campaign's suffering, and so is the bar, and carving out time for Ezra, because he's so needy, he can't get along by himself. Yeah. God, how did he get by all these years?
I know, before all these girls came around to help him. Now, the next time we see Elias isn't until all the way in chapter 24.
That is a jump.
Why do you think I waited so long to bring him back? Why the big gap?
You have a lot going on, too.
I do, yep.
Yeah, it's not, but as I said before, there's a lot of his overarching presence is there.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other characters are doing stuff around and behind him that are, very important to the story.
Yes. Okay. Good point.
And he needed to go to the Bat Cave to sit there and brood.
That is what it sounds like he did, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we do see him again in chapter 24, Elias is sitting at the bar at the Devil's Fountain, of course, feeling miserable again about missing Skylar. He's really struggling with the fact that she never responded to his text 2 weeks ago, and he just fears that means he was never the willing choice, like he was a rebound the whole time. And we learn more about his past in kind of a roundabout way. We learn that he's faced serious pain and hurt once, a very long time ago, and he let that pain nearly destroy him until he, quote, banished the beast. From that moment on, he unleashed his anger, his hatred, and his pain onto anyone who tried to take advantage of him. He believes he is the very disease that James fears. And again, another quote, the pinnacle of suffering. So what do you think happened to make him that way?
A woman scorned his ass.
That can be deadly, can't it?
Yeah.
And he screwed up and drove somebody away that he cared very, very, very deeply about. And he fell into a era of
like darkness and
And so like you said, he has anybody that screws him over, he unleashes hell on them.
Yeah.
And rightly so, you should.
Yeah.
You should never, if somebody screws you over, it doesn't matter how light or how heavy it is.
Do you think that it's safe to say that Ezra is, you know how that you've got like the one who got away? Do you think Ezra is the one who has kind of defeated him in the past and caused the pain and suffering?
Maybe. But maybe that's why he's holding on to the bet so hard, because he knows he's going to screw up.
Okay. Yes. So, how do you think, remember I said he banished the beast. How do you think he banished the beast that was his pain, as he described? Was that just a metaphor, or?
That's what I thought.
Thought it was a metaphor?
I thought it was more metaphorical.
Okay.
Finally got rid of almost like the darker side.
Like it was this thing latching onto him and... Okay. Well, after a period of brief reflecting, Elias decides he needs to quit this moping. This isn't who he is. He cannot continue to be haunted by old memories and faded tattoos, and he cannot lose Sky again. And then she walks into the bar as if he had asked her to come there. Time seemed to just slow down, and he was nervous, like it was the first time he was seeing her. And when she approaches him, he's so glad to see her, and he's so glad to see that she's still wearing the emerald that he gave to her in the last book. He takes her hand, he can't resist anymore. They lean into the moment, and he's not backing away. Anything that she's trying to push forward, he's like, yes, come into me. And he doesn't want to back away, and he's aggravated that Skylar is the one to pull away first because Ezra has walked into the bar.
God!
And Elias even mumbles, much the same feeling. He's like, not this asshole. And chugs more alcohol. So, do you think that had Ezra not shown up, do you think Elias would have finally taken the leap?
No, because she's trying to punish him because she feels like he abandoned her. And so even if Ezra wasn't part of it, she would have done something to sit there and push him away as some sort of weird, fucked up
like
retribution.
Tit for tat, kind of.
And because obviously, why would she pull away when she was sitting there smiling as she came in?
Okay.
So there was That was done on purpose.
Okay. A little move of revenge for Ezra's tormenting presence, like just his mere existence. Elias kind of sneaks into Ezra's mind telepathically and puts a very, invisible physical stranglehold on him, his literal mind. With every memory Ezra has of Sky, Elias squeezes tighter. I describe it as, a snake coiling around its prey. And he keeps doing that until Ezra is forced to just shove Skylar away from him and flash his fangs at Elias like, you better stop, motherfucker. And
I'd love to see them really go into a fight, because I think Ezra would really get his ass kicked.
Yeah. And Elias relinquishes his hold on Ezra's mind and doesn't even get to say goodbye to Skylar as Ezra just steals her away. So, what happened to Elias's resolve? If he was ready to step up because he can't lose her again, why didn't he do so against Ezra? That was the perfect opportunity. What happened?
He's bound by his damn rules.
Picking his moment, I guess.
Okay.
He's bound by rules, and he can't break those rules. He wants to win the bet.
And he
is just having to stay by the rules until Ezra screws up, and then he can sit there and kill the bastard and collect all the debt that he owes him.
So he wants to get what he ultimately wants, but he feels like he has to do it by the book or else.
Yeah, he can't cheat it.
Okay.
But I don't think, to be fair, winning a bet or not winning a bet, if you straight up killed Ezra, I don't think anybody in town or in the world would really give a shit.
Exactly.
They may not even know that it happened. They're like, hey, wasn't there a
dude that walked around that was just, all around?
Oh yeah, Elias killed him. Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah.
Good. I hated that guy.
Yeah, good for him. He was a pain in the ass.
He's dead.
Well, CJ would have been the only one at the funeral.
Yeah, right? Well, that does it for today. That was a great introduction to Book 4. We're leaving off on that note for today. So if you want to know more about what's happening in Book 4, come back Wednesday, because we're really going to get into some nitty-gritty then. So thank you guys for contributing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a couple days.
Catch up on the Angel of Death series today. The first 4 entries are now available directly at steviejoauthor.com.